Hi, it's Adam from Everyday Adam. It's a little bit impromptu, but today decided to climb Mount Marcy in Upper New York State. It's about 8:45 in the morning. I'm hoping to get down there, for lunchtime or so. It's about a 6 or 7 hour hike to the summit, and then another 3 or 4 hours back down. So I don't expect to be back in Ottawa for a little while. Wish me luck. Well, I've made it to the base of the hill. I'm just at the lodge camp here. It's a little bit chilly today, but let's get moving. It's about 1 o'clock. It took a few hours to get here, unfortunately. So hopefully I won't be hiking too much in the dark on the way back down. I've been hiking for about 40 minutes now from my parking spot. It's been pretty easy so far, no major ascents yet. Just pulled off at this stream here. It's pretty nice. I'm going at a much faster pace than I would like to because I got here so late. Because they say it takes 6 or 7 hours, I don't want to be caught in the dark, so I'm actually a little bit out of breath, moving quite a bit faster than usual. The going's been good though, the trail's not too busy. I've only passed maybe 6 or 7 other people. The conditions are pretty wet, there's a lot of mud on the trail, but so far I haven't fallen. Nice place for a swim. I've just about reached the halfway point. I just passed the turnoff to Mount Phelps, I believe, or Phelps Waterfall or something, which is about 7 miles in from the lodge there. I got another 7 miles to go up Marcy. I'm about 2.5 hours in, and I gotta say the climbing is getting a lot tougher. It's been pretty much non-stop uphill for the last kilometer or two even. Pretty much looks beautiful. Not a lot of people up here. Past 1 or 2 stragglers coming down the mountain. I think I have maybe 4 miles, so geez, 8 to 10 kilometers I guess. Definitely having to slow down the pace. There's nothing but boulders all over the place. It's funny, I remember watching a video about Mount Marcy just the other day. We say, how come these guys aren't smiling when they're climbing? Well, because they're trying to catch their breath and not break a leg. It's hard to smile. That sign there, it means I'm going the right direction. I think I have still a couple miles to go to the top of Marcy. It's getting really, really muddy. really have to be careful about choosing your steps. I talked to a few people who made it to the top today, and they said it was worth it. It's beautiful up there, so we're gonna keep going. It's actually pretty nice here. Giant river crossing. One of my new favorite signs. Oh boy. Pretty cool. It's pretty treacherous. It's all really quite slippery. Oh, so freaking cool though. Oh yeah. Okay. I just passed a pretty young couple who just came from the top. They said about 2 miles out. Honestly, I thought it was 2 miles out, 2 miles back. They said the last mile is pretty much bouldering to the top, and just that part took them 45 minutes at least. I'm getting a little bit concerned for time. I've got it at 3:20 in the afternoon, and I've been on the trail for 2 hours and a half. Sunset is at about 8:45. I figure if I continue going for maybe an hour, when I come back it's going to start getting pretty dark. Thankfully the bottom part is not very treacherous at all. It's just I don't want to do any of this mud and huge descents in the dark, and you know, bears and stuff. Let's see how far we can get. I just passed a trail marker that said the Marcy lookout is 1.2 miles away. I suspect it's going to be a very difficult 1.2 miles, but that also means that I think I should be able to make it today and still get back down to the lower area before it gets too dark. I did bring a headlamp as well as a backup flashlight and a warmer layer of clothes, but it's pretty slippery and can be pretty dangerous at night. Actually, it's pretty dangerous in the daytime, so here's hoping for the best. I am genuinely beat now, but I think I'm actually getting pretty close to the top. I'm in the clouds, that's for sure. Hopefully I'll be able to see something when I'm at the top. It'd be kind of a shame if it was all overcast like this. It's been pretty much rock climbing like this for the last 20 minutes. The going has been incredibly slow, but starting to look, it's so nice over there. Trying to smile for the camera. It's been hard, but I think we're gonna make it. So high. Crazy cloudy up here, and it's crazy windy too. Guess I should start going back down. Too bad about the clouds. It's also pretty cold. I did it. I made it to the top. Wasn't as satisfying as I was hoping it would be, because it's actually pretty cold up there and the view was pretty obscured by all the clouds. But now the getting down part actually is proving to be quite difficult. There's a lot of ground to cover, so here we go. Well, I've managed to pick up the pace going downhill. It's actually pretty smooth going, and well, let's be honest, it's way nicer going down compared to going up.
looks like everything will be on time. And this trail actually is quite a lot of fun. There's a lot of variation in terrain and obstacles, and kind of gave up on staying clean shortly after I got here. Clearly that's not going to happen. It looks like I'm probably the last one on the mountain. They did advise me below that, you know, it would be hard to get to the top and make it back on time. It looks like everybody else who summited today came a lot earlier during the day. Now this kind of stuff I absolutely hate. There we go, not so bad. Just a little rock. Pretty cool. Also, no bears, which is good. I think next time I do a big hike like this in this region, probably bring a little radio, maybe one of those little bear bells, because you never know. I've been walking rather loudly and sniffling and occasionally whistling a little tune, so hopefully that'll be enough to startle any, or sorry, not startle, rather ward off any other wildlife around here. You know, I don't do a lot of hiking per se, although living so close to the Gatineau Hills, of course, when the opportunity arises, I do go out for an occasional 10 to 20k. My main thing is obviously biking, and I gotta say, first I thought I overpacked for this trip. I brought 2 bottles of water, 2 bottles of Gatorade, one of those like Monster energy drinks, which I haven't had yet, in case I needed a little perk, a handful of granola bars, a handful of those fruit bars, and actually I also brought a bag of pepperoni sticks, but I've neglected to open that because I'm concerned that it's a very powerful smell, and you know, the last thing I want to do is attract any wildlife. Since there is quite a lot of wind, that kind of tastiness can travel pretty far, I would imagine. But as it turns out that this is just about the right amount of stuff to bring on a camp like this. I've already gone through a bottle and a half of water, a whole bottle of Gatorade. I must have eaten 5 or 6 granola bars and 5 or 6 of those fruit bars as well. So, you know, it never hurts to bring a little more food and water, or even maybe a water filter on a big hike like this. There's lots of nice clear running water, so a water filter would probably work quite well in this situation. You can see here, this is one of the more rocky descents, and actually takes a fair bit of concentration to navigate down here. Certainly not going to make any good time or anything. And to be honest, now that I made it to the top, I'm not so concerned with the time, but the reality is that This is still New York, and I have to get back home in Ottawa, which is about a 3.5 hour ride. So even if I do make good time, I'm still not going to be back home till 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, probably, making this a really full day adventure for someone living in Ottawa. We're getting there. Look at those rocks, holy moly. All right, time to put the camera down. We're still descending, of course. It's been about 4.5 hours. So I've been going down for about an hour and a half or so now. I think there's still an hour and a half to go. Starting to really feel it in my joints, especially going downwards. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight. I'm at the 5-hour mark now. I can feel the effects of fatigue settling in slowly but surely. I missed a couple steps and I've over-straightened my legs a few times by accident. So I figured this is a nice spot to take a little breather, catch up, get a little bit of energy back. It's not a really safe place to be fatigued. There are still a lot of rocks you could fall on. Nice spot for a break though. apparently all of this area here used to be a nice small lake, but when Hurricane Irene came through New York State in 2011, it busted open that dam there, and it's just never been repaired. Actually, if you look up on these hills there, those landslides were created by Hurricane Irene, and on Mount Colden, I think, in the far distance there are a number of very large landslides as a result of the hurricane that came through. It just took out huge swaths of trees. There's not a lot of soil here, so who knows how long it will take for something like that to regrow. Pretty cool. Here's what's left of the dam. Apparently before the hurricane you could just cross over back there. What they've done is they've constructed this kind of temporary bridge here. So everybody can still get across to Mount Marcy. I'm pooped. At 5 hours 40 minutes hiking now. We just passed a sign. It said 2.1 miles to the lodge. That means I'm definitely quite a bit slower going down the mountain than going up. I expect it'll take me a good part of the next hour at least. But the nice thing is that it's only 6:30, so definitely still lots of daylight left. Well, this is the home stretch. You can see the trails return to more dirt, which actually, for me, it's quite nice. I'm wearing relatively lightweight shoes, and although it's been good for ankle flexibility, I gotta say, walking on those rocks all day long, my feet are really starting to become uncomfortable, as there's not a whole lot of padding on these shoes, and the sole is quite flexible. It's more for maybe shorter distance trails. I have some heavier hikers at home that I usually wear for winter hiking, and I think those might have been a better choice for today. Either way, these trails are a lot more nicely groomed, closer to ground level. Probably get a lot more casual foot traffic around here, so the going is pretty nice. We're at 6 hours 18 minutes, and then we better be getting close, because I am just about at the end of my energy reserves here. That was a long and very challenging hike.
It's been a couple days since I completed my hike of Mount Marcy. I just wanted to go over a couple things. I wasn't maybe totally prepared for the difficulty level of this hill, although I managed a pretty respectable time going up and down. I wouldn't recommend doing it that fast. The next time I go, I would probably like to arrive around 8 in the morning and take a good 10 hours to do the hike. Packing a full lunch, full dinner, and probably not doing this run solo again. There are quite a few treacherous areas where if I had fallen, or even if I had sprained something, it would have been a little while before help would be able to get to me. In total, the climb was about 7 miles, so about 20 kilometers. It took me 3 hours to get to the top and 3.5 hours to get down back to the bottom to the parking lot. Overall, it was a very enjoyable climb, but Like I said, you know, if you're going to do it, pack appropriately, bring lots of water, lots of food, and I do recommend wearing heavier shoes. On the descent, your feet will start to get sore after landing on so many rocks and dodging all the mud and the puddles. Thanks for watching.